The old, abandoned house that for years had been a townspeople's worst fear rose just at the edge of the dark forest on the edge of town. For the townspeople, to even walk past this house meant closing their eyes, because the people who once lived in this house claimed that there was something terrible waiting for them when they closed their eyes. But these stories were forgotten over time, and no one questioned their authenticity. Our hero was a young man who lived on the outskirts of town. His name was Ethan, and his curiosity often drove him to pass by this mysterious house. He didn't believe the fears of the townspeople and decided it was time to get closer to this house. In the darkness of the night, he slowly approached the door of the old house. The door opened with an incredible creak, and as he stepped inside, he felt a strange atmosphere in the air. Inside the house there was silence, but this silence was frightening. As Ethan walked around the house, he began to hear strange noises, footsteps, gasps, but no one was around. The doors of the rooms seemed to open and close suddenly. He could feel the chill of cold breath on the walls of the house. Suddenly, as he passed a mirror, he saw a shadow in his reflection. For a brief moment his eyes met, and then the shadow disappeared. Her heart began to race, but she was determined to return. She had to discover more at home. As he went further, he began to encounter ghostly apparitions. The figure of a woman rushed past him and started whistling. Then he heard a child crying from the kitchen of the house, but the kitchen was empty. Ethan could not rationalize these events. He tried to understand what had happened inside the house, but fear gripped him. That night he decided to stay in the same house to sleep. But when he entered the room, he found a strange being on his bed. It was a horrible creature without eyes. Ethan felt this creature approaching him and panicked as he fled desperately through the dark room. The creature pursued him as Ethan ran through the halls. He became aware of the horrors inside the house. He had to find out something about the house's past and the secrets inside. Later that night, Ethan went down to the basement of the house. There he found diaries and journals from the old days. As he read, he discovered that the house's past was dark and full of horrors. He learned that the family that once lived in this house practiced strange rituals and dark magic. Ethan realized that in order to rule the house, these spells had to stop. But this was not going to be easy. The evil energies and ghosts inside the house were against him and continued to haunt him. In time, Ethan uncovered the secrets of the house and figured out how to end the spells. But he had to summon the courage to deal with the effects of these spells. Finally, he returned to the town's feared old house to face it one last time. He fought an uphill battle to break the house's spells. The ghost of the house attacked him, but Ethan was determined. He managed to reverse the spells and dissipate the dark energies inside the house. Finally, peace was restored in the house. The townspeople were no longer afraid of the house because Ethan had saved them. However, this terrible experience affected the rest of his life. He was determined never to close his eyes, because when he did, he would never forget the horror he had experienced. Ethan never told anyone about his horror story, but as the only one who knew the town's secret, he continued to live with his eyes wide open.